This panel is for those of you that are looking for new opportunities. I see some recruiters in the in the audience, so it's nice to have peers in here. Um, let's get started. My name is Oleg Bali. I'm a founder of Games Factory Talents. It's a recruitment house based in Finland, Helsinki. And I have a fantastic panel today. And maybe first we do a quick round of the introductions. So, Monica?
Hi everyone, my name is Monica Mihalak, and I've been working in game design recruitment for over 13 years with studios globally, up to 80 plus right now, like both with AAA, big brands, and smaller startups.
Hi, I'm Thomas. I work for Game House. It's a game development and publisher. Make me for PC and mobile games on different platforms for women. I've been in the industry for 19 years now. I started in QA, then project management, production, done a lot of different things role.
Hi, my name is Conchi Perez. I'm a co-founder and the managing director at Roll the Box Games for 4 years now, more or less, almost 4 years. And I have in the video game sector, this is the full experience, and I've been before working in a corporate world as a chief information officer. I'm a computer engineer from my background, and I have a lot of knowledge of very complex projects in a very different sectors, and this is the value that I bring to the game industry.
Hi, I'm Aurélie. I've been in the gaming industry more or less 14 years more, both in-house and as you can hear. And at agencies, I co-founded for talents 5 years ago now. We're specialized in the gaming industry and mostly senior talents, but we also partner with universities here. So yeah.
Nice. So, I have the first question for the panelists. I'll try to speak up a little bit louder. But basically, the games industry been so sexy lately. Everyone wanted to work in it, and what we are seeing right now is that almost daily the studios getting closed. People are moving. So my first question is going to be tough. What you think is happening in the industry? What is the reason? And what do you think? How long it's going to take? Maybe this time we start from Aurelie.
That's a very broad question. So I will give my share of that. We have seen, since last year, a lot of layoffs, mostly in the US and Europe. It's like 10,000 last year, and we already have 10,000 plus more like this year as well. Layoffs. Honestly, I see it as a transition, and I don't think we're looking at the long-term trend. So I would say that we're in a transition where we do need to take a serious step. Okay, what's next? The industry has to take a turn, right, and reinvent itself for some aspects. But I'm not worried in the long term for talent. I do believe that the need for talented game professionals will just persist and be normalized and will stabilize in maybe 1 to 2 years from now. That's actually what the studies plan. That would be my
Thank you. Well, I think that it's true that it's a tough moment, perhaps, but it's something that we have a good news. We have gamers, and we will have more gamers, and we have to think that the industry, of course, will continue. No? I think it's like a wave, and this is a moment of structuring because we were coming back from a COVID period with a lot of expectations, and there is the big publishers, no, that perhaps have a lot of problems or a lot of video games that has not succeeded as expected. This kind of that is a kind of wave that has provoked a lot of layoffs last year, and as a consequence, I'm bringing my vision as an indie studio. that we were looking publishers, also it has been very hard and difficult to achieve now the publisher. No, I think that the time that you need to find one for your video game has been multiplied by 2 or 3. And that provokes, as you say, that still we will see this year a lot of layoffs because when we started with the biggest ones and later the small also studios have some impact on this extended period for taking decisions for investments. That is normal. But I always look with optimism the future. It's a matter of dealing with this particular moment.
It's been rough. It's been a couple of interesting years and very difficult for the game industry in general. It looks like it's stabilizing. Um, Year to year, we noticed the stabilization of the amount of open roles in April, May. It seems to be stabilizing as well in June. It should increase after Gamescom. We are all hopeful. There is a lot of different factors that we've been seeing on why it's so rough and why it's so difficult. One is the post-COVID recalibration. The second one is cost of money is higher than it used to be. The mobile game industry has been heavily affected because of various elements. One is the lifetime value of players because of privacy laws and the user acquisition costs have been increasing drastically. So it's been complicated, and we all have experienced it in different ways. There seems to be indicators that it's stabilizing and it's going to increase. Normally, hopefully, after Gamescom, we should start to see a shift and more open roles overall in the industry.
So on the top of what everybody said, like hard data driven articles and people say is actually things should picking up at Q3. And also like it's mostly console PC studios that are bleeding right now. So I think also more roles will emerge. Fortunately or unfortunately, depends on the people, like in blockchain games and mobile games. And this is where like those are the studios that are usually I think throwing money at candidates right now.
All right. Then I want to elaborate a little bit more on that. We did some prep, so I wanted to ask. 2 years ago, I saw that the people were a little bit reluctant to go to work to the smaller studios because they wanted to go to the bigger studios, considering that the bigger studios actually is a safer place to be. How do you see it now?
They're not. I mean, I think the market, like, you know, all the layoffs from Embracer Studios just 2 days ago, Sumo Group, and like dozens of others, showed everyone that a AAA studio is no longer a guarantee of a stable work. And I think people start to realize it as well. And they're more willing to talk with startups, which are, I think, equally stable / unstable as bigger studios. Like basically working for a bigger brand is a guarantee of a long-term job at the moment.
I see the same thing. It seems to be candidates we were talking to were reluctant to embrace more risky startup or indie studio life, but they are embracing more and more because stability seems to be the same, and the enjoyment of working in a small team seems to be also more interesting because you can have more impact.
I agree on the point that you're highlighting. I just to add that there are different kind of talent for ages, no juniors, no seniors, and well, I think that as less and based on our experience, as younger as it is, the person it looks for the project itself, and I think this is the kind of mentality, not to think in a company as a company for all the now much better. Okay. It's not to think as a company for the company of your life. It's more look for the project that you really want to do, and that's the way that we move.
Well, I can only align with all what has been said, but I would say that in addition, maybe going to startup is giving you the opportunity to grow faster together with the company. You go to a huge company, it will be like the growth of that company will probably be slower. Like stable, I
I think you need to be the.
Sorry, you don't. Okay, now better. Okay. So yeah, I think if you join a startup, you have more opportunities to like be like to have an aspirational way and like grow together with the company, take on more responsibilities, and obviously at some point, if the company is working, then get better like opportunities in the future within the company or outside.
Nice. I want to now talk a little bit more about the different level of candidates' like experiences. Let's say, and what they can do about it. How you think they could adapt to the situation so that they land the next career opportunity. And maybe first, I wanted to ask, how do you see? What is an advice, let's say, that we can today give to the juniors that are looking to maybe just break into the industry? Let's start with that because I feel that it's gonna bring a big effect, a little bit like you said, 2 years along the line, things will pick up, new games, new genres will appear, people will continue playing games. But if we don't have the juniors right now to enter the industry, then in 2 years along the line, it's gonna happen that the industry is gonna suffer from it, right? Because people will be just hiring people from the other companies and slowing down the process. So, what can companies? What can juniors do to land an next career opportunity in the current state of the industry? Aurelie, let's start with
Well, there are basics, right? So the first thing is knowing your market, right? So do your homework, do some market research, target the studios that you're interested in and that match your style, or depends on what you do. But yeah, first of all is knowing very well the market. Then, well, we can't recommend enough like having a clean CV, working on your portfolio, and working on your portfolio means also like joining side events, going the extra mile, not only doing your like studies and so on, but if you have the opportunity to like join a game jam or whatever, then this is the idea is to differentiate yourself, right? Stand out. And there is something we always forget a lot, and that's something I'm very that I highlight always is attitude. When you're junior, you are very similar to a lot of other people who study the same as you, right? So if you work on your attitude, and by attitude I mean can do attitude being positive, being adaptable, but at the same time knowing what you want to do and being able to like navigate these two sides of being okay, yeah, I would like to go that way, but I'm adaptable to what you need because I want to work, I want to make my way to the industry, then that is such a differentiation. I didn't mention cover letter, but we could talk about it as well. That would be for me, those are the basics, but they would make a huge difference already. The other thing that in this specific context, I think could be a good differentiator would be like being open to relocate, right? And being open to work from office, which as an agency and talking to different candidates, like senior, junior candidates, I see more senior talent more open to go back to the office because they do value working together with the co-workers. Junior talent who started working during confinement, they have only experience work from home, remote. So they don't want to go back to the office, which is a pity because a lot of companies are still asking people to go to the office. So I think those two factors are very important to also to transmit and to share with junior talent because this would definitely be also like being open to relocate is something that can be a plus compared to someone who is more senior, who is at another stage in their life and have a family and are not necessarily so open to relocate. So yeah, I think those are right now very important factors to take into account.
Okay, you say a lot of things, and I want to. I I was thinking to highlight more for the junior talent, thinking about our experience. No? And at All the Box, when we decided to create the company, one of our dreams is to bring opportunities for young talent. No? It's in our purpose to have always some on the ecosystem that we can develop. We do that because we believe that it's important to help this development, to have good talent and properly evolve in the future. No? But of course, we are producing a video game, we are selling video game, and we need certain aspects that we look in the junior talent that are, from one side, of course, the hard skills, and when you are ending your studios, you are have been trained on these more hard skills mainly. You have to put that in practice, so participate in jams, develop your own products, try again, and create very interesting portfolio. This is something that we look at, this kind of attitude. But of course, make a video game is a so complex project and requires a lot of soft skills, teamwork, empathy, communication, transparency, a lot of things. And we also look for people that has been able to create a group of the other students, not developing alone the video games, but trying to develop a video game, small video game with more community. And that is a way to train and put in practice all the things that you will need for sure in the industry. That for me is the part of our recommendation. And the last point to highlight is, in our case, we look always people that is very open to learn, very open to be curious about what is coming, because to develop the creative part, we need also to have this kind of attitude, the can-do attitude, no? that you are always trying to deal with the challenge that you will for sure have. And to have a very good climate with that is important for us also in our team. No? How do you integrate with the rest, and how do you respect the expertise of the other talent that is working with you? No? It's for us it's like a source of positive and good creativity that we are looking for our video games. Thanks.
I don't have much to add actually, because this has been very covered. Maybe as when I'm looking for someone into my team, hiring junior is very hard because they didn't do much. It's very hard to differentiate one between the other. So I am always looking for the extra things that can give an indication of willingness to learn, the kind of project they worked on, even if it's indie with their friends, and gives them insights. In reality, when we hire, it's about attitude, it's about what can they learn, because we don't expect them to be experts yet. They just need to have a solid base we can build on. And always we're looking for people that are easy to work with. So attitude, mindset, the growth mindset is extremely important. Question what, as a junior, you've been doing. Invest in yourself, constantly learn and try to see what the others are doing, play video games. That's basically a differentiator in order to have a good idea of the potential of a new candidate.
Like +1 to what everybody said. I think the only extra thing would be about managing expectations. Like we conduct lots of free CV reviews for juniors and so on. And we have to brutally tell them that, working for CD Projekt Red probably won't be your first job, and this is what everybody want to do. And we have to convince them to give more face to more niche/indie/AA studios where they can actually learn things. Because having everyone leaving school thinks you're gonna work on a AAA title as a first job, which is usually not the case.
And we all have been juniors, right? We all looked for the first job and we all found it. So I just want to say that if you look for it, you're gonna find it. Now, Monica, I'm gonna start with you. I wanna ask the same question. Now let's talk a little bit more about the more senior talent, like mid-level talent and senior talents, how they should adapt, especially maybe those that were affected by the layoffs or maybe at risk of losing their job. What is it that there's less jobs right now available? So what's for more senior audience? What you think?
So, given the current landscape of the industry, there are lots of seniors available on the market, and it's like no longer an candidates market, it's employees market. So we see people more like compromising on salaries and like being less confident in salary in the negotiations. And given that, I think the focus really should be on networking because the crappy situation in the industry showed actually that community is super helpful and people are willing to help for free with like referrals, recommendations, and whatsoever. And there's like no shame in asking for that. And actually, people are super willing to help because it also makes them feel better. Like, it's like a psychological benefit of helping someone. And also, like, rewards me when it's natural. Like, it's a human thing. I'm having a reward when I'm also helping someone. So I think right now the core really should be networking more than it used to be before because, like, all the like inboxes of recruiters are just slammed with also senior applicants, unfortunately, and people tend to prefer to work with someone they know, they like, and also working with someone who was actually directly referred. So I think like asking people and like industry friends for actually being personally referred can benefit a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. There is an interesting aspect of all that has been happening. That's not the first time that there is a crisis in the game industry, but that's the first time that we can see it self-organized in a support way to help each other, because we are all affected in one way or another. Senior talents are affected, junior, even extremely incredible, super strong talent are on the market available, which I've not witnessed often. Um, Flexibility always the case. We've noticed also very very senior talent accepting lower wages because it's all about money that is available for a studio. They are opening a hall. We are opening a hall with a certain amount, a certain budget, and we have very extremely senior candidates applying. We offer flexibility so we can adapt and manage expectations. So like maybe like 4 days a week instead of 5 and to adapt on the expectations. But it's still there is a lot of roles that are available. There is more talent than all open.
Thank you. Now is the other round. Okay. I want to share with you two aspects. One refers to, well, as a senior, you have to think also what you are looking for. The situation of the market is what it is, but you can have more opportunities also for certain kind of development depending on your previous experience. No? I think you have to balance the kind of project, the salary, and your own development, what you are looking for. When we have conversations with senior talent that today is available, we always put that in value. No? For instance, in an indie company, if you're a senior that you have been working in a big companies and you are going to a small one, you have the opportunity to look at the full project, to develop this holistic view, to better understand all the different actors in the creating the video game, and to have this direct one relationship. And I think that contributes to the learn self on the knowledge of the game development, but also as certain aspects of the leadership, no? And certain soft skills by learning the, and you can really grow with this company and help to develop and to grow with your talent. But you have to balance, no? What it means in terms of salary, in terms of opportunities, and yeah, and that's the kind of reflection that I would like to do. No?
Well, it will be tough to add something to all this, but I want to maybe iterate on what you just said, that indeed an opportunity is not only a salary. So you have to look at, well, reflect on what you want for your next step, and look at all the elements of an offer. So the company, the project, the team, the people you will work with every day, right? And obviously the salary is also part of it, but everything. And the potential. I think the potential is very important as well. Maybe right now you will take a cut in your salary, but you will get shares. You never know, right? Maybe you will just work on a project that you believe so much of that you think, okay, then it will see, when it sees the light, then I will be so proud to have been part of it. Maybe you will work with people that are amazing and you can learn from a lot, or just get along so well and share so much that it is also like enriching. So that's one part of it, and that can be going to indie companies, startups, or smaller teams. I don't know, but that is very important to have like the bigger picture about an opportunity and not focus only on title or salary. Um, the other thing is like connected to networking. I think that like reactivating the contacts you have, not only at companies in the industry but also at agencies, can open you more doors, can connect you to other people. So it's kind of, it's a snowball. You reactivate that contact that will maybe not have something to offer to you right now, but will be able to connect you with someone else, etc., etc. Because as you say, Monica, people like to help. Because at some point, it's kind of, there is positive side of things. You look good, but also you might benefit from it in the future. So I think you shouldn't neglect that part also about, okay, people will want to help you if they can.
I want to one thing that I wanted you to say, what we talked about when prepping, is partner with the recruitment agency.
Yeah. That's what I.
Can you tell a little bit more about that?
Well, the thing is, a good part of recruitment agencies, especially specialized in gaming, they do have visibility on part of the market. I mean, we're not omniscient. Let's not, be ahead of ourselves, but we do have contacts within the industry with different companies, etc. The other thing that an agency can help you with, someone who has been working with senior talent for some time already, is also help you with this thinking process. Okay, what do you want? Where can you go? What are your strengths? And be part of this, I will use a big word, but coaching process in a very humble way, but can be this kind of partner that maybe today I can help you because I don't have a job for you, but if I can help you with that process, I will do it because I know that you are someone valuable in my network, and helping you will help other people and will at some point be beneficial for the industry. So yeah.
So I want to just summarize, because I think this is important, and I know that there will be the recording. So referrals, right? So one thing from my side, I want to say that I'm a strong believer in LinkedIn. So actually, if you've been working in the industry with somebody, you can send, and I encourage everyone to do it, is recommendations. One thing we talked about, the referrals. It's super easy to do. So you are on LinkedIn, you work with somebody in the past. This is what we recruiters do check, and the recruiters in the companies check as well. So like referral. Then I wanted to summarize, Kongsi, what you said. I think it's going from maybe specialist to more generalist, and not being afraid to do that, because you get to see a lot more in terms of like the scope of the project, or being involved, from being just a senior who is very specialized in something. Now you have the opportunity to go into the smaller companies and actually oversee the whole project. And what Aurelie, you said, is to partner up with the partner up with the talent agency, and in which, of course, there's people that can help. We recruiters also, I do give a lot of feedbacks on the CVs, on the portfolios. So those kind of things I think can help you and many, like as a job seeker, to find it. And what you, Thomas, said, it's like networking and activating the personal connections, like at the moment. All right. Yeah, we can start from that side. I think it's been working like pretty well. So I would like us to. I'll reserve some. If you have, sorry. Now my question is going to be for the audience. If you have any questions, I just want to manage the time, so I'll leave some time for the questions later. But now I want to start that maybe looking into things in terms of like the what could be the practical things that people listening today or watching this watching this recording later, what are the things that they can maybe learn and start doing like at the moment, like maybe already starting from your side?
Okay. Well, I think we have shared some tips. I would say like from today. Well, make sure that you connect on LinkedIn with the people you have met here, right?
Yeah.
First of all, and if you add a message to your invitation, it's even better, right? But I think that people who came here already made that kind of thing, that kind of effort to join events, to network. So that part they have it covered. But don't forget to convert these meetings that you have had and add the people on LinkedIn, thanking them, or just keeping in touch. I don't know what else I'm thinking, but I think I will pass along because you have talked about so many things already.
Okay, thanks, Emily. We have said a lot of things, but I want to emphasize also that when you're looking for a new project or opportunities, try to know the much that you can about the company that you are applying for. No? Try to think about what is kind of video games that is developing, how you can contribute to that. Always when you are customizing application, trying to be closer to the ones that you want to write, that is much better, and something that I will talk. And that means that when you are looking opportunities, try to analyze also how you are matching with this kind of company in terms of the project and in terms of the size. For this, you were highlighting before about this specialist or generalist. No, when you are going to a small company, probably you have to work with different heads, and that's something that also you have to be at least prepared for that. And I will emphasize to think on these aspects, and of course networking. You have to be on associations, you have to participate as much as you can in different events, contact, and that helps you to find opportunities.
Yeah, networking is very important in many aspects. It's not only about reaching out to people from the industry, it's not only about meeting at events, it's also about meeting friends, doing stuff. So you get a chance to practice your skills, invest in yourself if you're looking for a new role or if you want to work in the game industry in general. So you get the chance to practice, experiment. There's a lot of resources available to how to make games, how to make this specific aspect of one title for different platforms. So invest in yourself is probably the strongest advice I would give to not only look for a job, but look for the project that matches what you would like to do. And looking for a new role is a job in itself. It can be confusing, it can be scary or difficult. So having partners or people that can help you in how to navigate, where to find the kind of role that will be a good match for you will be useful.
Plus one to what everybody says, and I think also networking and not being shy to ask for help. Like for me, it really took years to go out of my cave and start going to conferences. I think the worst person networking you're looking at. But if my company goes down, probably Thomas would be one of the first person I'd message. I need a job. So I really just ask for help. People like helping.
All right, now I'm putting my recruiter hat. Now the quick questions. Cover letter or no cover letter when applying for the job?
No. I mean, sorry, I work with really 80 plus studios and also I work as in-house recruiter. With the amount of CVs we're receiving, Honestly, even if I wanted to, I'm not able to read a single cover letter. So no, unless it's really required. Like companies like Riot Games, for example, require a cover letter, but in general, no one reads them, and they're also very generic and probably generated by ChatGPT right now. So I'm a no.
I would say yes. Cover letter I use less, to be clear, because what matters is your story and what you can see into the CV. They become extremely important if your CV is not obvious why you're a good match for the role. So if I see a CV that is surprising to me when there is not a clear indication of the match between the CV and the role, then the cover letter becomes extremely important because then that's a translation of why that person has the transferable skills or the expertise or the mindset that we are looking for. So sometimes the CV was not good, well, not adapted to the role. However, I saw from the cover letter that there was insight, there was a lot of useful information, went to the interview, ended up hiring the guy. So if it's not obvious why you are applying for a job, the cover letter will help you. Otherwise, yeah, no point.
In my case, yes. For me, it's important. Yeah, I think that curriculum, of course, is important and can surprise you, but for me, it's more important how the person try to approximate or to your company, what is looking for, how the person try to establish this relationship. Could be a formal cover, could be a mail, whatever, but in the sense of trying to really make this proximity, correct, this closeness and an effort to understand what is the position about, what the person can bring, because that also for us it's a way to really see how the person is thinking about their own development, the own strengths and the points that they can bring value, and that it's a starting point for us. Yeah.
It depends. I'm afraid, like everything depends. I think it depends on what it depends on many things. But I would mention two main cases that I see it useful for. If, as Thomas said, you're not necessarily your CV doesn't show you a natural fit to the job, or if you're a junior talent. If you're a junior talent, yes, 100 times yes. Why? Because this will place you in part of the 5% of candidates who do it. So we're talking about differentiation. This is not a difficult task to write a cover letter. Yeah, maybe it will take you 2 hours, but it is something that most junior talent don't do. So if you do it and you do it right, then together with a nice CV, a nice portfolio, then you stand out and you will get an interview. Unless you target it very coolly, the job you apply. That's different. But if you target correctly the job, if you have a clean CV, if you show a nice portfolio, and in addition you write a proper cover letter, you'll get the interview. And that will make a huge difference between getting you that first, like, this door to open or not.
Interesting. So to summarize, also I have my own personal opinion about that, and it's I think also depends. So we will have kind of even here, but of course okay, I don't know, hate this, but I personally hate when somebody sends just the general without reading the job description. That in this case, if you're not gonna write the cover letter for that particular job, it's a no. So don't do the cover letter, general cover letter, because it actually plays backfire, because you can immediately spot it. If it's written with the chat GPT, you can immediately spot it. It's actually, I think, written in your own words. And what I can say is that in my opinion, what it needs contained is that what are the reasons, or maybe what are the reasons why you could be a fit for that role. That's it. It's sketchy, so specifically for that role. I want to ask the audience: do you have any questions? Because I can continue this discussion like for another hour easily. Because I would like to also address some of the questions. So if you have a question, we can take a few questions. If not, I'm just gonna ask my own. You have a question? No. Then, yes.
Thanks. So my question is about candidate experience that companies that you work with provide, or what you've witnessed so far. Obviously now we're like in a market where it's a company market, not a candidate market. So companies have opportunities to choose from candidates, but it's still important to provide a good candidate experience, because at the end of the day, if you find a good person, that person might have other opportunities to choose from. So yeah, in your experience, what company is doing at the moment to provide a good candidate experience, what they're not doing, what they could do more of?
Okay. I first of all, I think that could be also the angle of your question can also be, is there a change, right? Because now we see the let's say the power play being a bit different than a couple of years ago. Do companies treat candidates a bit less white gloves, right, than before? On my end, I haven't seen differences in companies who treated candidates well already, right? So they keep their the candidate experience high because they are definitely conscious about the fact that they might find those people later on, or those people when, as you said, if you find a great candidate, that person is most probably not only talking to you, right? So definitely. What should, like, now about the what, right? What exactly? I think there are some very basic things like communication, like making sure that you communicate with the candidate in like any timely manner, right? Not waiting for like a week or sometimes more between different stages, or at least keeping them in the loop. Okay, we need more time, because being transparent, that's something that's over time, I've pushed a lot with companies we work with, that sometimes you can't give an answer, and the better way to explain to candidates is really coming with the truth. Okay, we have like internal conversations that take time because there is a like reorganization within this team, and that means that maybe we can give you an answer right now, or whatever the reason is. It's always much easier to give the truth to the candidates in a very genuine way, as much as it's not confidential, rather than just going silent, right, for example. Maybe another aspect, but I will throw the question and let my dear panel mate answer is test or not. A lot of companies and candidates or recruiters wonder about that. Should we have a test within our process or not? My answer is it depends. So
This last point you want about the test. We used to do always a test, but because for us, well, like a technical test, but we look more. I want to try to explain as better as I can. We look more, not if you pass or not pass the technical test. For me, the most important is how do you are able to receive feedback, how you deal with the things that has occurred. And that shows really if you are open to learn, open to work together and to challenge to this kind of mentality that I said before. That's the reason that we do this kind of test.
100%. But the candidate experience is critical. Most of the time, the talent acquisition team in any studio will be the first contact to the company. That's your brand that you're also putting outside. So there is an enormous focus on candidate experience in all the studios. Sometimes it's overwhelming for a studio to receive so many applications to try your best, but there is always focus on a good candidate experience, because this is an establishment of a partnership long term. You're trying to attract people to join your team. In regards to the test itself, it depends. It's also about equality of chances. So we have been taking care of evaluation in the technical aspects, with the test, without the test, with the conversation. Sometimes it's not necessary because we have clarity. It's all about bringing clarity to the hiring team or hiring manager. Can the person we are talking to actually do the job? And how we do that, there is different ways. Some people are extremely pressed by time, or they have other commitments, they cannot do a test, and we would not ask them to spend 20 hours on something because we might lose them, although they are an amazing candidate, they have amazing potential. Sorry. A technical conversation of 1 hour is probably sometimes more than enough because it gives you the insight of how people think, how they address a problem, how they receive feedback, and potentially how easy to work with they are. So yeah, in our case at Game House, we've got all formats. So some people prefer to have a test because it's less stressful than a 1 hour and a half conversation, and they can think and work better that way. Some others don't want to take tests and they just do. Sometimes, yeah, it depends. The only thing that matters is bringing the clarity of can they do the job.
As for the test, I'm a team, it depends, and I think everything was said. And as for your question, I think what unfortunately lots of companies are doing wrong is not being in touch with candidate and not providing feedback on time. And this is usually a result of the fact that studios internally are hooking the decision on one person, like one hiring manager only. Like it's not distributed between few people. So if they're going for holidays for like 2 or 3 weeks, the process is dead, and the candidate just they're flake off from the process. And this is something that should be changed, and it's still not changing, unfortunately.
All right. Yeah, from my side, I can also say that this is basically, I haven't worked with the big brands, but the smaller studios. And I think to me, as a recruiter external, it's actually basically it's just the communication, the only thing. The candidates are not getting ghosted. They get a response. No response is anyway better than no response at all, because like it's okay, right? So you are not fit for all the jobs and everything. I agree that many studios, I feel, actually putting them in a bad position by not giving that feedback or not responding fast to the candidates. These candidates are never gonna come back to the studio, so they're gonna just miss out.
And they're gonna write a post about you on LinkedIn, and it's gonna go viral.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, we have a question.
Hi. Myself and my colleague are from, not from the industry, we're actually from a big global company that makes physical products, but we're thinking about stepping into the digital arena to, I'd say, close the loop on the experiences that we provide consumers. So for us, it's about acquiring talent, probably acquiring a whole team. Probably in there will be junior people, in there will probably be also senior people, probably a smaller company than ourselves. Thinking about, I would say, that process, thinking about, I would say, the ability to be able to retain that talent over a long period of time, what advice would you give us with regards to, I would say, what the trends are about retaining people? We see different ways of remunerating them. Some basically companies have their top talent have skin in the game. Some people have salaries and bonus systems. How would you advise us to, I would say, keep a team motivated and acquired over a longer period of time?
Excellent question.
I can start. I think the biggest value right now is stability, and game dev studios don't offer that. So if you come saying that you're well funded, you've been on the market for years, and you offer this and that, I think that would be big for candidates, because right now, like everybody we're talking with is like really kind of shaky, and everybody's afraid they're not gonna, keep their job even if they're working for a bigger studio. So I think stability right now is the key, especially for seniors that are, no longer on venture, but actually we do have credits to pay and, dentists for our kids and stuff. So I think stability is a key.
Yeah. In terms of attracting talent, I think it's about transparency and being honest and ensuring that in the talent acquisition process there is no discrepancy between what is said and what they will encounter when they join the company. Otherwise, you break the contract or you break the trust that the talents will have with you when they join the team. In regards to retaining, it's about interest in the project, having fun, and being challenged. Learning and development is a very strong component, so people in your team feel that they are constantly learning and growing and honing their skills. That has a very strong impact on retention. Transparency within the company as well, showing exactly where you are, what you're doing, how you're doing things, And so the team feels connected to what's happening, as well as connected to the product that you're building together, and trust and impact. So having a way to ensure that the organization is flat enough so every voice matters, everybody feels heard, and everybody in the team feels that they can have a positive impact on the way the project is managed or handled, has a very strong impact on retention.
Yes, I want to highlight that in our case, we don't talk about objectives in terms of having plus salary by objectives. We believe on values. And in our case, we work to have the correct salary. It's a thing about managing expectations and following the values that we want to have inside the company, and making the project and the company attractive enough. I think that we have to be very coherent, and that's Thomas that you were saying, with what managing expectations, what you are commitment, what is the kind of commitment that you are achieving with this candidate, with this person, with this family, and be sure that you can provide the things that you are providing to them. That's something that we, for instance, do a constant follow-up, and every half a year maximum, if we can better. So we have a contact dialogue, but there are some particular points that we check exactly. Well, we agree to respond, what is the development that we have been able to do or not, and continuous managing these expectations, always based on what can be achieved. I think that the most to gain the trust and to create a good climate takes a lot of effort. To be destroyed is immediately, no? Because you are doing things that are not aligned with the was initial commitment. And for that we have, for instance, 3 values that we always pursue a lot, which is respect, the transparency, and the commitment. And we always try to have this direct dialogue with all the team, individual as a team, and provide the spaces to be able to talk and to manage and to generate this correct, for us, space of work. Think on teleworking too. That's something that I want to add. That today we have a lot of opportunities that help to balance the private and the work life, and that's something that we have also to put in value.
So I didn't get it clear if you look at hiring like talents, let's say one by one, or acquiring maybe a team that. Exactly. Okay. I would say the first thing is to have a very clear strategy. That's the things I have talked about already. I think you need to be able to sell something that looks well thought already, right? And then being also open to adapt, because if you go to an expert team, then they might tell you, okay, this looks good, but maybe in the game industry this you would do a different way. So being also kind of able to adapt to the expertise that would come from outside, and that's not always easy, right? Something that, besides strategy, that in terms of both attracting and retaining talents would be useful is to have a kind of market research on whatever your location is and whatever ecosystem you're part of. What do gaming companies propose, right, to their talent? Meaning, sometimes it will be about compensation. Sometimes, a lot about compensation will be benefits. So in order to keep being attractive to those people, you need to know what they will expect. And ideally adapt to that. And if you can't, be transparent about the fact, okay, we are a bit of a different company, so you will find other things at our place than you would find at a big gaming company. But this you won't find, because that's not the way we operate. But it's good that you have this knowledge ahead of, okay, how do things work and what is the offer from gaming companies to the same talent that we want to have.
Yeah, I can also add a few things. This week was fantastic in Barcelona. I visited many companies, and I can say that at least one company that I met, they're offering 4 days like week, 4 days week. That's, I think, a huge retention. Yeah, it's only one. There's another one in Finland, so I know another one. So 90% of the compensation for the 4 week day, and like I think 50%. It's like I'm talking about the Finnish company. So that is one. Another thing, in practical terms, I can say that sign up for that LinkedIn recruiter. What is that? That talent insight. It's a new product. And if you're here today, maybe you spot me later. I can show you. So this is a good way to check other people in this specific domain contacted a lot. So it shows meaning that many recruiters send emails to these people. This is also a good indicator for you to know that this maybe like very specific people in this industry, in this area, for instance, or like location, whatever, do they get a lot of emails? So that will indicate you that is there like a recruitment demand. So you can also, and I totally want to say that you have to, of course, do the benchmark. Check out what the studios are offering. It is quite, of course, I mean, salary is one aspect of it, but it's not everything. So there's a lot of different like of these benefits. But if you want to check, I can show you these talents insights like later on. Do we have more questions? Then I want to wrap it up, but I am personally interested about something that I want to ask quickly. Talents applying for the jobs. We talked about the cover letter, about the CV. How long is the CV should be, and what are the must-haves? I want to hear from all. I'm particularly interested, so maybe Aurelie.
It depends. So how long? I would say if you're a junior talent, it shouldn't be longer than 1 page because you shouldn't have so much more like to say, and it should fit in 1 page. I would be open to have a CV up to 2 pages if it makes sense, right? For someone who is more senior and obviously cannot pack everything in 1 page. I'm not like the kind of very strict person about CV. If it looks good, but I won't read 6 pages. Okay, so 1 to 2 pages for me would be the sweet spot. What should it contain? Well, let's say the basics would be obviously all of your contacts, your LinkedIn, your portfolio, everything well identified, right? And like links that work. I'm sorry, but we sometimes struggle like, okay, then I have to copy paste that. Oh, it's over there. I can't even copy paste because it's protected. So this shouldn't happen. Then I would say obviously, well, your studies, any project professionally or personally that you've been working on, but with clear identification, right, of what it was about, the technologies you use, right? Think keywords oriented, right? Because a recruiter, hiring manager as well, but specifically a recruiter, will look to find the keywords in your CV, right? Either it's a specific area you work on, or technologies you're familiar with. So please mention the games you would be working on, because maybe it's worth also mentioning, okay, be part of the big project or the smaller one, and what kind of games they are. Same way, if you're looking for someone mid-core and you do have this experience, then it's good to know. Something we forget, and we talk about customizing cover letters a lot, but we never talk about customizing CVs. It's not necessarily that you have to customize a lot, but sometimes you have done exactly what the job description is describing, but you put it in your CV in other words. Make it easy for the recruiter. Use the same term if you believe that you have done that. Don't lie, just think about, okay, is it the same thing but with different words? Then I should adopt the same language, right? And this brings me to language. That's a basic, but I do say to the junior talent I work with that make sure that if the job offer is in English, you send an English CV. Because sometimes you would send like the Spanish seed or whatever, or the other way around. So that's a basic. It sounds very stupid, but it's not. Yeah, I would say then you can put whatever you feel will resonate with the company, but in a clever way, right? So if you actually did play a game for a long time that is made by this company, and you have certain level, I don't know, and you're a junior talent, that not if you're a senior, if you're a junior, that might make sense to add like either there or in the cover letter, right?
Plus one of all the I want to just to highlight the links, the links to the portfolio, and that you can really look at it. That's the most important. Yeah.
Depends on the role, I would expect. So depends on what you've done as well. The length of CV. I tend to be a little bit lenient. I received one once of 19 pages. I think it's a bit much, but because it's linked to unconscious biases, and if your CV is easy to read, I can find the information I'm looking for to see if you are a good match for the role, I will like you, because you make my life easier. So make your CV easy to read, provide the information that matters the most first, and avoid the noise.
Recruiters don't read CV, they screen them for keywords, so like only bullet points, like I don't care about if you're married or not. It should be always PDF, one page if you're a junior, max 3-4 pages when you're a senior, and no typos. Like people that make typos in CV are dead to me. I mean, honestly, there are so many free tools that allow you to screen your CV for typos, so like no typos, plus 1, 2. Most of it, like for me, no cover letter, but.
Yeah, yes, certainly, absolutely.
There is one thing that is kind of politically incorrect to say, but I will say it. Put a photo on your CV. You don't have to, legally you're not obliged to, but if you want to stand out, if you have a picture with a nice smile, it will be positive bias. So I think it won't make it if you're not a right fit for the role, but if you are, and that in addition, between the same CV with or without a picture, like having someone who looks like open and just normally positive person, like just normal smile, to me, it will, whether we want it or not, it will influence us. So it's the same as, make my life easier. It's also, okay, but show me who you are. It's not an obligation, but if you want to stand out, and especially I say it again for junior talents, and you want to put all the chances on your side, then I would do it. Unless it's a country where it's prohibited, because there are countries where like you shouldn't do it.
I don't know about that completely. Sometimes I would tend to force myself to limit my own biases and anonymize all the CVs from the first stage, so I don't get to see or influenced by a nice picture, or if like it's a tricky one, and it does influence, that's for sure. But I've experienced in some of the ETS you have the option to that. The first stage is blood names, but lots of different things. So you really evaluate the candidates on their skill set. It gives an edge, or it can deter. So it's a risky move. I don't know what I think about that. But I know that I experienced with anonymizing the CVs to limit my own biases. It's been very effective. Sorry.
I don't know in this way that you do. For me, the picture is not a need. It's nothing. We have to evaluate the talent itself, and with interviews, etc., you will see what's happening if it really has the minimum basis. Yeah.
I suppose in a case you're representing candidates, which helps a lot as well to understand who they could be and how they can be supported. So yeah, in my case, I need to be strict. I need to be fair.
I think putting photo in a CV is a double-edged sword. Like the biology says, we're animals, and we actually prefer to work with people that are attractive to us. So it can work either for or against yourself, depending on who's on the other side of the table.
Nice. Look, I can continue this forever. We already ran out of hour, and I see that. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions.